Hello, my name is Zach Gig, and today I'm doing my scandal discussion presentation on two scandals, one locally here in Cape Girardeau and one in St. Paul, Minnesota. The first scandal I'd like to talk about today is the scandal that took place in Cape Girardeau. The scandal took place when members of the Missouri House Special Interim Committee on Illegal Immigrant Crimes conducted their final public hearing at the Cape Girardeau City Hall Council chambers. That was on September 25th of 2024. This meeting represented the sixth of a series of hearings intended to investigate how illegal immigration is affecting crime in the state. Commonly referred to as the Illegal Immigrations Committee, this subgroup was created in July 2024 by House Speaker Dean Plocher and was charged with working alongside law enforcement and focusing on illegal immigrant crimes, how immigration is affecting crime in the state of Missouri, and kind of just a local collective built to hear from those in the community about what is going on and what is not being seen. At the hearing in Cape Girardeau, 7 area residents testified, voicing their fears and ideas for addressing criminal activities linked to illegal immigration. They covered issues such as giving preference to U.S. and Missouri residents, looking into whether the federal government would assist with housing illegal immigrants, and pursuing charges against the federal government for offenses committed by illegals. Lane Roberts, the committee's chair, kept correcting Newark this time on the broader nature of their work, not just crimes committed by illegal immigrants. He said he is not looking to penalize a group, but that the goal of the committee was to try and find solutions which will reduce any negative effects of illegal immigration on Missourians, while it also admitting that measures where illegal immigration does indeed impact numbers associated with crime is inherently difficult. The scandal was very interesting. There was a lot that took place in this meeting. The meeting initially was supposed to be made so that the committee could hear all complaints throughout the state of Missouri about illegal immigrant crime. This turned into a shouting fest, a scene where protesting illegal immigration. It's at a time where the election is huge, and a huge point in this election this year was illegal immigration. It turned out that it kind of interfered with the ethical values within the citizens of Cape Girardeau. When talking about immigration, some feel stronger than others. Morally, you're supposed to have a warm heart and welcome those who may be in trouble. But it is important to note that the issue has gone to a new extreme, and that is why there are committee meetings like this. When talking about immigration, I have a soft heart, so I don't want to get into my beliefs and all that business. But I would like to note that this is a scandal because the committee meeting went south. Yes, immigration is rampant in the U.S., but it became an opinion fest. People talking about their opinions on immigration rather than the issues that they're facing in their towns and countries. They were talking about immigration issues as a whole. There was miscommunication, and the reason this is a scandal is because people had thought that this was a meeting on illegal immigration to come voice your opinions on what you believe and how it has affected you. In reality, this committee was there to hear about issues that have happened with illegal immigrants in our town. None of the 7 recipients had anything to say about actual events that had happened with illegal immigrants in our town. So it was very contradicting and borderline unethical to go to this meeting and state your views and opinions on immigration when that is not what they were asking. I see some analytical issues that maybe I would fix. First off, I would make sure that it is known that this committee is meeting to hear about issues that have happened in the city of Cape Girardeau. Not what are your opinions. No one wants your opinion. That is where we need to draw the line. That is where, if I was this committee, I would have put out to the community that, hey, this meeting is strictly for those that have experienced issues with illegal immigrants that are related to crimes. That was not the case. Personally, I would have marketed the event better, if you want to call it an event. I would have not allowed for people to be involved that were just there to show their political views and their notions on illegal immigration. I would have made it very clear what the purpose of the meeting was and why the committee was formed in the first place. For my second scandal, I would also like to talk about an event that happened recently in September in St. Paul, Minnesota. This scandal is beyond unethical. A complete and total misuse of funds and fraudulent activity had alerted the attention of law enforcement. According to the case, Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison announced today that an organization, Shamsia Hopes, had agreed to run from following governance failures that resulted in the misuse of the entity's assets by its founder and president, Mekfira Hussein. The assurance does not prevent the Attorney General from bringing the claims against Ms. Hussein or any other individual, according to an investigation conducted by the Charities Division of the Attorney General's office. The corporation ignored government's requirements, which allowed misuse to run rampant. Even though Minnesota law requires nonprofit corporations to be governed by a board of directors, Ms. Hussein operated Shamsia Hopes, sorry, I freed up there. Shamsia Hopes, either by herself or nearly by herself. This allowed Ms. Hussein to misuse the nonprofit's assets on items such as a $93,000 Porsche and paying off her husband's $173,000 mortgage. This investigation also found that Ms. Hussein had steered at least $5.4 million to Aromia Feeds LLC, a company created by her husband, which was the vice president of Shamsia Hopes from 2015 to 2020. So this scandal here is a total misuse of funds. This organization was created to help build a foundation, a place for people to go, kind of a organization that wants to feel good to be a part of, helps those in the community. It sounds great on paper. This organization turned out to be completely fraudulent. A couple had decided to take all the funds that they were raising for those in need to pay off their Porsche and their house, as well as $5.4 million in funds. That is completely unethical and not okay. Some spots in the scandal are that the organization had allowed the Hussein couple to distribute the board member positions to themselves. They were acting as the board, as themselves, and everyone in the organization believed them enough to think that it was okay. This is why organizations have structures, board members, and a system of kind of checks and balances. If I was in this situation, I would not have allowed the Hussein couple to run the entire organization. Many people in these positions delegate roles like secretary, treasurer, those kind of positions, but there was none of that with this organization. That would have raised a red flag to me personally, and hopefully to others. Seeing that was not done, the scandal went crazy out of proportion. There is endless amounts of money, over $5 million, that was misused and abused by this couple. Making organizations like this should be a goal of people's, but this scandal kind of turns people off from donating to nonprofit organizations. Couples that are using the organization that they say are for good cause to benefit their personal life. It's very sad, it's unethical. And like I said before, I would put in a system of checks and balances, or would not be a part of an organization that does not allow for their funding to be seen, talked about, or directed by any other members of the organization. Something definitely was seen as fishy. It ended up that there was no financial obligation that they had to pay. but it was more penalties and fees and such. I've not seen much more about this scandal, but this couple had definitely taken advantage of the people that thought they were giving to a great organization that was helping people, but they were really helping paying off a Porsche. Personally, I'd be very upset. I think this scandal is terrible and unethical, and I don't understand what type of person would do such a thing. I hope you take my suggestions and understand that these situations can be avoided with a system of checks and balances and a little more attention to detail, as well as marketing efforts and as such in our first scandal. Thank you.